I'm also kind of interested in the dynamic of Trump's popularity with foreign policy. A lot of people would say, wow, look how popular he is. Even more popular than previous presidencies. Check out CNN's numbers guru, Harry Enton. I just want you to think about it in terms of whether you think this really helps Trump with Americans or might even hurt him. I think you know where I'm going with this, but let me share what is positive polling data out of CNN for President Trump on the matter of foreign policy.
This is one of the areas in which Donald Trump is performing significantly better than he was in term one. One of his best issues relative to term one. What are we talking about? Approve of Trump on foreign policy at this point in term one. Look, Donald Trump was just at a 35% approval rating. Up like a rocket. We're talking about 43% now. That's an 8-point rise. On the net approval rating, we're talking about a double-digit rise. The American people like much more of what they're seeing from Donald Trump in foreign policy in term two than they did in term number one.
So often presidents in their second term, usually later in their second term, frankly, will turn to foreign policy. So how does President Trump compare to past presidents in their second term?
You know, this to me is one of the most interesting data points, because normally when we look at these data points, we see that Trump is doing worse than other presidents. But on this one, he is doing significantly better, because take a look here. All right, 21st century foreign policy approval rating at this point in term two. George W. Bush was down at 36%. Barack Obama was at 37%. Look at this. Donald Trump actually leads the pack at 43%. Donald Trump has a higher foreign policy approval rating at this point in a second term than any other president who served their entire second term in the 21st century. This is something I think Donald Trump really likes to look at, because the bottom line is this: presidents like to build their legacies off of foreign policy, and at this particular point, the American people like much more of what Donald Trump's doing on foreign policy than either of the two other 21st century presidents who served.
Now, what's fascinating about those numbers is that, and what I think is important to remind everybody, there's nuance there, because foreign policy does impact our economy. And I keep thinking about that old expression back in the Clinton era, it's the economy, stupid, because everybody is focused on affordability. That becomes according to the mainstream media, that's why Trump's popularity is allegedly cratering. Look, it is not. You know, spoiler alert, they're full of you-know-what. Saw Axios today. Oh, red alert. Everywhere the Republicans turn, there's bad news. There's bad news. Baloney. Democrats won where Democrats were expected to win in November. That's garbage. There was one outlier. There were two little races in Georgia, I think. To try to suggest that all of a sudden Trump's polling is underwater is garbage. But I would not dispute that prices have to come down across the board. Interest rates have to come down. The mortgage rates have to decrease. There is economic uncertainty. You know, for every story that I see saying that our Thanksgiving dinners are going to be less expensive this year than they were last year, I'll find another story saying what's actually going to be a little more. People are telling anybody who will listen, and I get look, I got my ear to the grind. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to what you're saying. You're saying the grocery prices still have to come down. So my question is, since Trump's poll numbers are, according to CNN, so good with regards to foreign policy, does that help him or hurt him? Because I suspect that a lot of people hear that and they say, well, that's great. I'm glad he's dealing with Ukraine and Russia and even Sudan. He was meeting with the Saudi crown prince. Trump was made aware of the horrors that are taking place in Sudan. And I think people are saying, yeah, okay, that's all well and good. But put America first is what Trump is all about. He's America first, but he's clearly not America only. And I happen to agree with that personally. We can't be isolationists. The rest of the world is part of the equation for American success. But let me just ask you a simple question before we get into some other things this hour. Does this news that Trump is popular on foreign policy more so than Bush or Obama? At this stage of Trump's presidency, he's got a 43% approval rating on foreign policy. George Bush had a 36 approval rating. Barack Obama had a 37% approval rating. I mean, Trump is smoking them in terms of foreign policy polling. Is that good or bad? Here's South Dakota with a text message. Those 6 evil Democrats should be arrested and removed from their post. What scares me the most is that my son is in the military now. This makes me so angry. A lot of people are angry. We're going to get back to that in just a moment because I want you to hear one of the 6 scoundrels explaining what illegal commands they're referring to. Spoiler alert, they won't say. Spoiler alert, they won't tell you. So let's go back to my question about this good news on foreign policy from President Trump. The polling from CNN. The polling suggests that Trump is doing better than George W. Bush, Barack Obama, or even better than he did his first term. Is that good news or bad news? Joe's in South Carolina, 24 past the hour. Hey, Joe, welcome. How are you, sir?
Oh, doing well, Mike. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Glad you called. What do you think? Is this poll on foreign policy a good thing or a bad thing for President Trump?
Well, I think it's a good thing. I you know, what I don't understand, Mike, is that it seems like I hear Trump bashing all the time, but I don't necessarily think that's actually real. I mean, he's doing exactly what we voted for him to do. I mean, look at the last 4 years of the Biden administration. It was a disaster. And Trump was overwhelmingly put back into the White House. He is actually doing what we voted for him to do.
He absolutely is delivering on every campaign promise. And Joe, he's done it in 10 and a half months. This is what's astounding.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, but here's Axios. Let me give you an example. Let me quote. Everywhere Republicans look, they see big political trouble. They say it in private and public that Trump's persistently plumbing popularity is real on key issues. In a Fox News poll out this week, voters said the White House is doing more harm than good on the economy. 46% say they've been hurt by the administration's economic policies. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Who's hurt by what economic policy is causing pain for people at the grocery store or the pump? I think you're right. It's a media narrative, but the problem with media narratives is often they stick.
Yeah.
Perception.
Well, I don't see it. I'm looking around. My business here in South Carolina was up 20% from last year. I look around at the restaurants. Most of them are crowded. People are spending money. They're out in the malls. They're out shopping. I'm just looking at my own world here, and I just don't see why people are bad-mouthing the economy. I think we're going in a great direction here.
I do too. I totally agree with you, and I appreciate your call. I'm going to tell you right now what the problem is. It's the plague, the illness called entitlement. And I have railed against entitlement for years, and it especially afflicts younger Americans. How do you think Zoran the commie got elected? By offering and providing a promise of free stuff. Free bus rides, free subway rides. We're going to freeze the rent. Affordability has got to come down. And when people hear that, they light up like a little Christmas tree. They get all excited and exuberant. Oh, look, yeah, he may be a communist. Yeah, there's that problem of him wanting to destroy private property rights. And there is that problem of sending social workers to a domestic violence call instead of a trained police officer. Yeah, there is that pesky globalize the intifada. Yeah, he's probably a bad guy. He's probably a snake, but he's going to freeze my rent. He's going to give me a free bus ride. Incidentally, the free bus rides, that's going to work out great. That'll be like a horror movie. Because the bus rides now in New York City are going to become mobile sets from Dawn of the Dead or Night. It'd be like zombies. All the homeless people and a lot of criminals and violent people and mental patients, they're going to be riding the buses all the time. Beats laying on the sidewalk, hop on a bus for free and just ride the bus all you want. It's great. There's great plans. I can't wait to hear about Mamdani's visit with Trump tomorrow in the Oval Office. How's that going to work? How do you think that's going to work? President Trump, incidentally, announced to the world that they were going to have the meeting by saying, and I quote, "Communist mayor of New York City, Zohran Kwame Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. We've agreed that this meeting will take place at the Oval Office Friday, November 21st. Further details to follow." It's the details I can't wait to get. I can't wait to hear how that's going to go. Zohran's going to march in there like he's all that in a bag of chips. I don't think it's going to go the way he thinks it does.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.